give me a thumbs up so that I can see. Okay, students. So our today's topic, or I should say, the first topic is about communication. As you all know, in this subject or in this discipline, whatever we are studying, it can be any subject, be it history, pol science, or any subject. English is a common subject, and in English there are two things: literature and language. So in today's class, we will discuss about language, English for daily use, right? So before starting, what I have planned for you, or what I have prepared in the shape of PPT for you, I want to ask how many of you are familiar with the term communication itself? Just let me know in the message how many of you heard about the word communication. Yes, everybody, just tell me yes or no. I hope you are able to. Yes, Aniket Das. Okay, Aniket, may I know from where you are? Kolkata. That's great. I was expecting that. And another one, this Rabia Asraf, if I have not pronounced wrong, right? And another one who has not joined with his or her name. Yes, I request you who have joined as Kiss Key, please join with your name or write your name. Okay, Kisra. Good. Kisra, you are from Delhi. Good. And Rabia, Ashraf, are you able to listen to me? Okay. Thank you for your response. Yes, Rabia. Good. Hmm. Actually, this is a communication class, and I don't want to make it like a monotonous class or just like a video recording or a video like on YouTube. Since this is an interactive class, you can ask me, you can stop me in between, and I will try to make this class more creative, more full of what should I say, interactive, and of course we can add something to this communication, this class, this interaction, I should say. When I came across your syllabus, I saw all the contents mentioned in your syllabus. Then I thought I should start with this non-verbal communication because when we are not speaking something, we are communicating. When we are speaking something, when we are listening something, we are responding. So I believe that as an English teacher, I teach to different students. I should say graduation students of arts, science, engineering, and other medical branches also. I feel that non-verbal communication play a vital role in communication. So I will start with that only. Let me share my PPT with you. If anybody have any issue, just send your message. So are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Good. In order to start with, let me discuss with the meaning of communication itself. Since communication is not only a matter of passing an exam, it's a matter of learning also. In this particular course that you are doing, in especially this BEGLA course, it is designed very particularly according to new education policy, and it includes everything that is required at present in a practical way. So instead of starting with literature only, let us start with communication only. Because communication is not only vital for our learning, but for job also. Because we study for two purposes. First, for knowledge. Second, to become uh, employable, so that someone can offer a job. So communication is a dynamic process. As I discussed in the beginning only, when something is dynamic, there are more chances of being creative. There are more chances of getting output. You might be knowing about these terms, but to start with, let me revise. Let me making you recall. It's a process by which we convey our thought, feeling to someone else. When you are responding me time to time, it helped me, it motivate me to expand my thought, to disseminate my knowledge with you. If everybody is just silent, I will feel I'm making a video and people will watch it later on. They might watch it, they might not watch it. So when we receive a message, it affect our stimuli. Stimuli means the knowledge process. Our mind, when it is active, something it gets something and we respond. It is called as stimuli. So how you say what you say play a significant role in communication. This is the technical aspect of communication because it is helpful to learn something through diagram or through picture. So I have inserted that. If you see, this is the technical aspect of communication. However, while communicating, it is not necessary that we take care of this model particularly, but it's a representation by which we can understand the term of communication properly. Of course, there is a source and there is a receiver, and everybody has a message. Message means the information we want to share. Encoding. Encoding means preparing the message in a way so that it can be sent to the receiver. Channel. Channel means the way we use to communicate. Means it can be verbal, it can be non-verbal, it can be through telephone, it can be as we are interacting through MS Teams or Google Meet, through Zoom, or when we are learning something in the classroom. Decoding. Decoding means understanding the message in a way as it was sent by the source, and receiver is the person who receives the message. So this is a very basic and simple representation of the process of communication. And feedback. Of course, feedback is very important because when I started the class, I asked from where you are, I asked what is your name. So when you respond instantly, it shows that you are alive. You are not like that you joined, but you are not responding. And at the right side, you can see the word context. Context, if I say, is the base of communication. Whatever we speak, it creates a meaning, it creates significance according to the context only. If you don't know the context, sometime it happen we are not able to grasp the meaning clearly. For example, if I say a word sell, sell in a word. If I talk about any instrument, any gadget that works on the basis of battery. So the cell is called battery is also called as cell. When we talk about a section, a community, we can say cell, the student cell, the teacher cell, and there are different other meanings of cell. So everything has a meaning in reference with the context only. So whether it is verbal communication or non-verbal communication, context plays a vital role. What is the source? Source means why to communicate. What is the reason of behind this communication? What to communicate? What we want to say? Usefulness of communication means the purpose and accuracy of the information. If I am teaching you something, if you know already about that, you can judge what is correct, what is incorrect. But whatever I add something new, that will be the usefulness of communication. And recording, the process of transferring the information you want to communicate into a form that can be sent and correctly decoded at the other end. If we send a message correctly, only after that we can expect that the person who is a receiver can get our message correctly. If we are not sure, of course the receiver will not be sure. So we must have an ability to convey the information. And before that, we must know our audience, as I did. Before starting the class, I asked you about your names. Then I asked from where you belong to. Why? Because if you might be from the place I belong to, for example, I belong to Haryana, and I know my local language, my mother tongue, and Hindi as well. But I could see there's a person from Delhi, and Delhi in Delhi, we cannot guess. We are not sure who belong to which place because there are a lot of people who live in Delhi and belong to different places. So, in this context, I should try to know the audience, and the audience belong to not my culture, not my native culture. So I must speak in a language that is common to all. That's why we are talking English. There are four types of communication in general: verbal and non-verbal, personal and professional, formal and informal. And the last one is vertical and horizontal. Since our focus will be on verbal and non-verbal as it is prescribed in your syllabus, but we will discuss all four in brief. So let's start with the second one because we will discuss verbal and non-verbal in more detail. Personal and professional. Personal communication when we talk to our friends, relatives, our family members, and professional when we are in a company, when we are a student, when we talk to our teachers, seniors, colleagues, like formal and informal. When we talk formal, we try to use the formal words, we maintain the decorum, and informal, we can use some words that we do not use while talking formally. And vertical and horizontal. This vertical and horizontal belong to the organizational communication. When we are working in a company or when we are part of any organization, there are different levels. Like if there is a boss, and after that there can be a supervisor, after that there can be workers. So when communication comes from top to bottom, or when communication goes from bottom to top, right? So, and apart from the post, apart from taking care of the hierarchy, when we talk to anyone, for example, worker is working and he has some problem, instead of he or she talking to his or her supervisor, directly he or she goes to his boss. So then it comes whether it is vertical communication or horizontal communication, verbal and non-verbal. Verbal, when we use words, grammar, and syntax. Syntax means the structure of sentence, where we will put the parts of speech. I think you will be familiar with the parts of speech. So, when we use a particular word according to situation, according to language, it comes under verbal communication. Verbal can be oral or written because we cannot speak, we cannot write without a language. So both oral and written comes under verbal communication. Non-verbal. In a single phrase, we can say everything other than words. When we are communicating without speaking, means we are doing a non-verbal communication. Of course, verbal have the parts of non-verbal. A survey tells that in the whole communication, 93% is non-verbal. Only 7% is verbal. So it's a quite strange fact. In our whole day-to-day life, as a student or as a family member, as a worker, we communicate a lot, but we communicate only 7% using totally verbal communication. In the rest case, in 93% cases, we use non-verbal. Even verbal is spoken with the help of non-verbal. So it has five main parts: body language, gestures, postures, eye contact or facial expressions, dress, color, and proximity. We will discuss them one by one. Body language. Since non-verbal communication is also known as silent language, means when we are not able to understand someone's language, we use non-verbal. When we were kids, and you might have other kids in your home also, when they are not able to speak something, they communicate with body language only. So, non-verbal is more ancient communication than verbal one. If I talk about the effectiveness that we will discuss later on, which is more effective, verbal or non-verbal, here we will just discuss the characteristics of non-verbal. A message can be sometimes expressed without the help of words. Sometimes we don't feel like speaking something, but we express. You are sitting before me, and you have not put your camera on, and you are not sitting before me clearly. So in that case, what we feel, I'm not getting your. A student, sorry to interrupt you. Are you able to listen to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. And of course, are you getting what I'm telling you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After completing this PPT, it will take 40 to 45 minutes. After that, I will give you time. You can ask me questions. You will have nearly 30 minutes, right? So let me continue. A message can be sometimes expressed without the help of words. Since you are not sitting before me, I cannot feel your mental situation. I cannot feel, I cannot understand what you are thinking about me. Because when you are sitting before me, I can see if someone is feeling bored, someone is feeling good, or someone is having some kind of concern regarding something. You might have your phone with you. If you are taking class from laptop, while listening to my lecture, you can check your mobile phones. You can do some other work. But when you are in a class, a physical classroom, then you concentrate on learning, right? So at that time, we feel the importance of body language. the environment through which the human verbal and non-verbal messages are transmitted. As I discussed, the environment here means context. The environment may have the physical environment, the environment may have the social environment, or the environment may have the particular context in which we are having communication. Body language is technically known as kinesics. It's a science of body language called as kinesics. It studies about various features of body language like space, color, facial expressions, body language, postures, gestures, head nod, the way we walk, the way we sit. All these comes under the term kinesics. Non-verbal behavior related to the moment either of any part of body or the body as a whole. It establishes a spiritual relationship between the sender and receiver to convey a message. This is what I was saying. Since you are not sitting before me, after 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, I must ask you, are you getting me? Or it may happen you just uh, be with the meeting, but physically you are not there. There are some advantages of non-verbal communication. Since it's a matter of discussion, which communication is more effective, verbal or non-verbal? And at a particular time, we cannot differentiate each other. For example, we are sitting in an interview. Then we are well aware about how we are sitting, how we have entered to a room, entered to the interview room. And before asking the interviewer, we will not even sit. How we dress, how we walk inside, and after having the interaction of the interview, how we leave the room. All this is about the non-verbal communication. So it has some advantages because when we want to speak something, we must have an issue. The issue is language. If you are not very good in English, you are not very good in a particular language, we may feel that I don't have particular vocab, I don't have a particular word. Sometimes we feel, oh, I forget that word. Oh, why I couldn't speak that at that time. But in non-verbal communication, there is nothing like that. Just by behaving formally, we are communicating because non-verbal communication help us in easy presentation and substituting, but it is blocked by noise because when we communicate non-verbally and there is a noise, we feel a problem. And but if you are not feeling comfortable and we are speaking without saying that I'm uncomfortable, we will take a pause for a long distance. It shows there's an issue. Another example is that, for example, I'm teaching to you and I have some issue. Instead of telling you, dear students, I have an issue, I will take a pause or I will stop speaking. You will understand that there is an issue with the teacher and it may take time, right? But if you are before me, we with using fingers, lips, head nods, we can show our facial expressions. But during this online class, it may happen that non-verbal is not fully effective. This is the disadvantage of non-verbal communication. But it is very helpful for illiterate and handicapped people. And when we are in a place, in an alien place, about the place we are not familiar with, then only non-verbal communication help us. I tell you my own example. In last January, I visited Kerala, Thrissur in Kerala. I was there for a conference, and one of my friends who used to live in Haryana only, he belongs to Kerala. So he asked me that you can come to my home and we will explore the places. I said okay. I went to Thrissur. He received me, and then he made me feeling very comfortable. I went to the college where I was supposed to deliver a lecture, and after delivering the lecture, I could recall there was another friend of mine, so I thought I should visit him. That friend of mine, he used to pick me and drop me at that college for 2 days, but at the third day, I thought let not the disturb of my friend. I thought I will explore myself on. So from Thrissur to Koyencheri, there is a place in Kerala, Koyencheri. I took a train, and from Koyencheri to there was another place, Changan Kulangera. So that friend told me come to Changan Kulangera and he will receive me. When I went Koyencheri, I forgot about the place. I was sitting in Kerala Roadways bus, but I was not able to tell the name of the place. And when I called that friend, of course, there are situations he was not able to take my call. Then I could recall for the first time when I visited Kerala and I visited his home, there was a mosque uh, uh, between the way I can say, between the passage I can say. And near the mosque, there was a small township, and there he used to live. So I sat in the bus. I took a ticket. That lady, yeah, of course, there was a lady conductor in the bus. It was a quite a very good experience to see that there's a lady conductor because in Haryana, I couldn't see that, and you people won't find a lady conductor in buses, be it a government bus or private bus. But in Kerala, I felt very safe, and it was a time of 11 in night. 11 in night. You see a lady that's it, conductor bus. Yes, that lady was not able to understand English. Of course, she used to know Malayalam, but I didn't know Malayalam. So then, for the first time, I felt that everywhere English doesn't work. I must know a little bit Malayalam, but at that particular time, I don't have time to learn Malayalam. So, non-verbal communication helped me, and the way I could uh, transfer my message that I belong to visit which place. I try to speak Changan Kulangera. At that time, I was not able to recall that name. And when I was using Changan means any word I could recall. So she told me nearly 5 to 6 places, but Changan Kulangera was not one of them because there can be, of course, similar names of that place, similar places of that name. But then she said, "Give me 20 rupees, and you can travel up to the place, the destination till the bus goes." I did that. It takes nearly 30 minutes, and there was a last stop for the bus, but I couldn't see that place. Then I came out of the bus. I thought, let us go back to the Coimbatore. I took another ticket. I sat in the bus, of course, near a window, and I was trying to discover the place when there is a big mosque, but I couldn't do that. Again, I took another bus. So I did this for at least 2 hours, but I couldn't find that. And when I came back, it was nearly 1 o'clock. You can say night or morning. So two policemen was over there, and they discovered that this person don't doesn't belong to that place. They came to me, and I feel a sigh of relief that they spoke in English. Who are you, and why you are here? So this was really a very big thing. And when they told me, when they asked me, "Who are you and from where you are?" I felt like if a person from my place is there, I told them everything, and again the same thing. They said, "How are you?" They said, "Who are you?" But they were not able to understand everything because it is not necessary that everybody is very good in English. But I couldn't help them telling anything about the place where I want to go. So, dear students, another 1 hour it took place. It was nearly two, but those people were really good, and it was nearly 4 o'clock in the morning when I got a call from that my friend. He asked me where you are. I said I am in the police station. I am at the Coinchery. Okay, he said I come, and he came by 5. And when he orated the word Chandan Kulingera, I said, oh, it was. So if I was able to tell something about the place, if I could tell something in non-verbal communication, I could discover the place. And then he told me something other, like how you couldn't discover that there is a tree like this. And he told me different other things. And I mind that without speaking in Malayalam, without speaking in English, if I could tell them that particular pictures, that particular things, they could discover that. So, non-verbal communication is more helpful than verbal because if I talk about India only, there are so many languages in India. How much we can understand? I know Hindi, English, Punjabi, little bit Urdu, but what about others? In the same way, if you go abroad, we cannot learn every language in a short span of time. So at that time, visuals, pictures, graph, that does work. If you want to visit some place, and now it's the facility of phone, of course, we can Google it. We can show picture to someone if GPS is not working. So this is the advantage of non-verbal communication. And of course, it is a quick expression of message. Instantly, we can send a message. So sometimes it reduces the wastage of time because if we want to communicate verbally, we want to communicate through language. First, we write it, then we send it, then the receiver will read it, then he or she will respond it. Of course, it has some disadvantages or limitations. Let me talk about that. Non-verbal communication, of course, is very helpful, as I told you, but it also has some disadvantages. And what is the disadvantage? It is vague and imprecise. It is unclear. Everybody of you, if I'm not wrong, might have seen the film PK. In PK, he just speak the one word, acha, acha, acha. So, just by speaking one word, when we can communicate, when we can express different meaning of a single word, how we can expect that non-verbal communication, especially a sign, especially a picture or a particular expression, can communicate perfectly, can disseminate a clear message. If I am nodding, so sometime when we are nodding from up to down, it can be an expression of saying yes. When we are listening to a song, we can nod our head from left to right, right to left, and of course, up to down and down to up. How we can say when we are enjoying and when we are not enjoying. At the same time, when we wave our hand, it can when we wave our hand, it can be I'm not getting something, or we can say bye to someone. So it is imprecise and vague, of course. Long conversations are not possible. As I told you about my own example of my last Kerala visit, we can communicate through non-verbal, but not for long time. If that lady would be sitting with me for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, how she could work, how she could perform her duty. There are other passengers also to whom she is supposed to take the ticket. So, for long conversations, non-verbal is inappropriate because it is difficult to understand and it requires a lot of repetitions, right? When we want to communicate something through non-verbal, and until or unless the receiver doesn't get the exact meaning, we have to do a lot of repetitions, and by repetitions we feel awkward, and sometimes we lose the interest itself, and sometimes it is very costly in some cases. Because if you I want to tell you that uh, tell me if you are not getting, are you getting me or not. So by speaking you will say yes, it is very instant answer. And if I say show me non-verbally that you are getting, so what you will do, you will draw a picture where yes is right or a thumb is there. So it is costly sometimes, and there can be a distortion of information. Why? Because since it uses gestures, facial expressions, eye contact, touch, sign, sound, paralanguage, etc., for communicating with others, there is a great possibility in distortion of information in non-verbal communication. Here I am talking to you, you are listening to me, and we are communicating verbally right now. So the person who have not joined our communication, the person who have not joined our class, he or she won't be able to understand. But if you are doing it non-verbally, I'm speaking something in public, and anybody who doesn't belong to me can take the information. So this is the big issue, that it is not private. Non-verbal is not private. It is not personal, because everybody have different mindset and everybody have different meaning for a particular thing. If I talk about touch itself, in some cases touch means it can be good touch, it can be a bad touch, it can be an affectionate touch. So on the basis of touch only we can guess, we can examine someone. If I talk about uh, sign only, sign communicate in an ambiguous way. For example, if I go to airport, if you go to airport, there's a word written over there, arrival. So sometime, or for the first time when we visit the airport, we feel, what do you mean by arrival? It is arrival of flights, or it is the arrival of passengers who are supposed to board a flight, right? So at that time we have to make inquiry, and that inquiry will be made by verbal communication only. If you look at the picture, are you able to look at that picture? Everybody please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so while watching the picture further, uh, recorded some mouth-watering picture. I included that picture because when I was making the PPT, how I should tell you about the paralinguistic factors. I thought since we are talking about non-verbal, let us insert a picture, and I found that picture on Google. Thanks to that person who uploaded that picture. So there are three words: paralinguistic, linguistic, and extra linguistic. It is similar to a burger. You can you know it perfectly that in burger, what are the essential ingredients? A bread should be there, right? A part of potato should be there, fried potato, I can say. And apart from that, it is your choice, or it is the person who is the owner of that shop, what he or she inserts in that. In the same way, the paralinguistic factors are the essential factors. The linguistic factors are like bread in a burger. Because without bread there is no burger, right? And paralinguistic means the ingredients, the things which are in burger. Because without that, the burger is just a part of bread. Also. And extra linguistic things, of course, you can see in the picture. And on the basis of those extra linguistic features, communication becomes more expensive as burger becomes more expensive uh, due to other things apart from the essential things. So there are the things before you: tone, pitch, rhythm, timbre, loudness, and inflection. Paralinguistic means the additional features that help linguistics, that help verbal communication: tone, pitch, rhythm. You might have heard about them. Timbre and inflection can be new for you. As I gave the example of acha, acha. For example, okay, okay, okay. So these are the paralinguistic factors I am inserting. The tone we use while talking to a person, one can identify whom he or she is talking to. Pitch, rhythm, timbre. Timbre here means when you talk to a person, the way you talk, you feel sometime hesitation, sometime you feel comfortableness, and inflection means when we speaking, as I am speaking and you are listening to me, the way we up and down the pitch, the way uh, we insert the flexibleness in communication, that is inflection. Because when we make a video, for example, if I make a video of this class and share with you, of course it will not be like that as I'm communicating, because I will choose the words very carefully. I will note down first, then I will speak that, and even after the recording, I will edit that, because I will make a video of 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and only very essential, very important point should be there. When I'm talking to you, it may happen sometime I say, are you getting me? Sometime, if I spoke something wrong, I can correct it. But when it is recorded and when it is uploaded or when it is sent, there no chance of inflection. So that's why paralinguistic factors help in verbal communication. If I talk about how we can use non-verbal communication effectively, let me repeat once again. When we discuss about this verbal and non-verbal communication, it not only will help you in communicating effectively, but it will also help you to writing your answers when you will appear in your exams of this class or this course particular. So this PPT or this contents will help you to remind the communication, to remind the interaction at the time when you will write your answers. And good examples always endorse your answers, and it will help you to draw more marks. If I talk about how we can use non-verbal communication effectively, the first thing is dress. Why dress? Because when we look at someone, first of all, we look at the face only. But why I have not inserted, why I have not asked about face? Dear students, everybody have different face. Some can be physically beautiful due to face. Some can be less beautiful physically due to face. I don't believe in that because it is not in our hand. When we cannot choose that, how we can talk about that? So in that case, we will discuss about things that we can, uh, I will not say manipulate, but that we can change. Everybody cannot change his or her face. No one can change his or her height. No one can change his or her weight very quickly. But we can change our dress. So dress formally. Choose or match color combination effectively. When we are student, or especially when we are uh, as a uh, candidate during an interview, we all know when we go for the interview which color we should not follow. I think you might be very familiar that white is always formal, especially during the interview. But it is only shirt, right? White trouser is never formal. If I talk about black, black trouser is always formal, but black shirt is never formal. In the same way, blue. We all know light blue shirt and dark blue trouser. But if I choose other uh, colors like red, green, or anything else, they can be good for any other occasions, but not for the interview. So it is not only about color; it's about matching of the color. You might have visited the restaurants. You all know that white shirt and black trouser. This is a formal clothing. This is a dress for different professions. Just from a waiter, a railway TT, a lawyer, right? So there are a lot of people who wear that kind of dress, but you are able to identify on the basis of what? The non-verbal communication, right? An advocate will have a tie. An advocate will have a badge or a symbol on her neck. But if you go to a restaurant, we can expect that anybody who is wearing a white shirt and black trouser, that will be a waiter only. But in a public, if someone is wearing a shirt, a white shirt and black trouser, that person must be an advocate. Because nobody want to wear his or her dress publicly except a lawyer. It's a strange fact because they want to make an impression like a policeman. If a policeman won't wear his or her dress, there will not be any impact. The impact is in the dress only, right? So that's why dress is very important. Then use sound body language while standing, sitting, and walking. It is also very important. As I told you, we cannot change our body, but we can change our body language. Because when we stand somewhere, when we sit somewhere, when we walk, and when we touch someone, when we are standing with someone, the space does matter. Kinesics. There was a term as I discussed earlier. Kinesics tell us the importance of space. Space is very important. The people who are very familiar with us, we can have less space formalities. But if you go to any office, you will find if any big officer is sitting, you will find a big table between you and him or her because that space tells the position of that person who is sitting on that side of the table. In Japanese culture, there is huge importance of space. Japanese people take care of space very well. They are very concerned about space. They maintain the space. It can be of at least of 3 feet. They say space is uh, like proximity. Space is like familiar witness. So no one is allowed to influence the space, especially in Japanese culture. And Chinese people also somewhat follow that. Another thing is that always show soberness, soft words, and maintain even eye contact. What is odd eye contact? You all know. What is even eye contact? You also know. Odd eye contact sometimes show unagreeableness. When we don't agree with someone, when we feel awkward, when we feel angry, then due to eye contact only, sometimes we show our feelings. So always be sober and use soft words because speaking a word not only does matter, but how we are speaking it also does matter. When we are answering a question or when we are asking a questions, we must show confidence because asking a question is not an easy thing. Because when we ask a question, it is expected that you have heard the person or the speaker very carefully. Because if you ask a question that already has been answered, we may feel embarrassed. So at that time, our non-verbal communication help us because our facial expressions, the eye movement, that can create an impression that you are not able to understand something. However, you have heard that. Second thing is that don't show aggression. Show disagreement positively. It is not necessary that every time we do agree with others. Of course, I'm your teacher, but it's not necessary that you do agree with me. But if you show your disagreement positively, it will help me to quench your thirst. But if you show aggression, I will think that you are not able to, you are not, I will not say able, but you are not eager to understand. So aggression shows that. Don't let your inner soul out. This is very important point. When I was a student like you, or when I started teaching, I used to feel hesitation. Everybody feel that. And one of my teacher told me that people will understand what you will orate. People will understand what you will express through your body language. If you are sweating, if your legs are shivering, you cannot control that. But if it is not happening, you are not shivering and you are not sweating, just you feel fear in yourself only, then there are ways for that. So don't let your inner soul out. So by these means, we can use non-verbal communication very effectively. And since ethics are there for everything, they are ethics of communication only. When we talk about any profession, it has some rules, it has some ethics, and communication also have some ethics. If we talk verbally or non-verbal, we use oral communication or written communication. We can use any aspect of communication. We must follow ethics of communication. Why ethics? Because ethics tell us whether or not communication will be beneficial. First of all, we must know the purpose of communication. We communicate according to purpose only. We want to communicate or dominate. When people try to dominate, people stop listening to them. Then the whole communication fails. So never try to dominate, communicate. When we participate in group discussion, you might have participated, or if you have not participated, you might be knowing what is group discussion. In group discussion, people try to dominate. They don't want others to speak. Why? Because when they don't have a vital point, when they don't have a concrete point, they try to increase the pitch of their voice, and thereby they try to dominate. But this is not the way to communicate. In that case, their marks are deducted. They, they are not considered as good speakers, right? So try to communicate, not try to dominate. Display or convey. Display means when you want to do show off. For example, I can speak little bit in a British accent. For example, I say I don't know. So if I speak like this, it is a display. But when I say I don't know, it is a way of conveying something. So I'm not here to show you my knowledge. If I have done uh, a good degree, for example, I am PhD in English, but you are not able to understand me, then my PhD is not of use. If I'm just a postgraduate or just graduate and I'm able to teach you perfectly, that will does that will do matter. So when we communicate with someone, we should not try to display. We must try to convey our message. Communicate according to the context. We have discussed this point already. According to context only, we should select our word, we should choose our words. And we have heard the term that first impression is the last impression. Personally, I don't believe that because impression might become better and worse day by day and step by step. So no impression is the last impression because just make the first impression is the last impression. We don't follow the ethics of communication and we try to display, not convey. So don't think that first impression is the last impression. If you will not feel that, we will try to communicate, not dominate. We will try to convey, not display. There are natural communication and performed communication. As we see the performance in films, serials, and others, when we perform, there are different takes, retakes. But when someone is natural, there are no retakes. So always tries to speak naturally. Use of heavy vocab is not long lasting. In my next class, I will tell you about how we can speed up our communication. If you are very good in communicating English, that's good. And if you feel some problem, that class will help you to uh, communicate effectively. When we want to make an impression, when we want to display, when we want to dominate, we use heavy vocab. So we must not use heavy vocab because heavy vocab never never leaves a vital impression, a healthy impression. Of course, we can impress someone by using heavy vocab, but if meaning is not clear, it will work as a jargon, and jargons are never helpful. It can happen that the listener will lose the whole interest in the communication due to heavy vocab. So we must not do that. Listen others and let them speak. A good listener can only be a good communicator. So we must listen others, then only we will able to understand them, and then we will respond them according to them. So this is uh, a vital part, an important part, an essential part if you talk about the ethics of communication. So to sum up, we can say by today's class or by today's presentation, we must know how to answer these questions. And the questions are definition, importance, or need of effective communication. Then parts or differences, personal communication, professional communication, verbal communication, and non-verbal communication, formal, informal, vertical and horizontal. And what are the paralinguistic factors in communication? What are the advantages and disadvantages of non-verbal communication? How to use non-verbal communication effectively? And what are the ethics of effective communication? So these are the questions that will help you to analyze what we learned today. So now it's your time. You can ask any question related to today's class, related to this PPT that I shown you. So one by one, you can ask your questions. Yes, students. Anything you want to share, anything you want to ask, you can. Yes, students. Ask your questions.
Sir,
Yes, dear. Yes, ask please.
sir, can you explain the parts of non-verbal?
Parts of non-verbal.
No, sir, communication.
Parts of communication.
Yes, sir.
In what context I should explain? Means the verbal and non-verbal,
Yes,
or
sir.
the sender receiver, like that.
Sir, I'm asking the parts जैसे कि non-verbal है, formal and informal,
Okay,
personal,
okay,
professional.
okay. That's
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Okay, let me share the PPT once again. Then it will be more helpful.
So can I ask one more question?
Yes, of course.
Sir, we have to prepare from this PPT only or use some reference?
Very good question. I was, of course, supposed to answer this question also after this class. So I will tell you everything about that. That's a very good question. But before that, let me discuss with your first question. Then I will come to your second question. Right here.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
I think you are asking about this only types of communication, right?
यस सर सर वो एक छूट गया था इस वजह से कह रही थी थैंक यू
No
सर
issue, no issue here. When you talk about the types of communication, according to the use of communication, there are types. कैसे उनको हमें यूज करना है उसके अकॉर्डिंग वी कैन टेल द टाइप्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. The first type is on the basis of nature, oral communication and written communication. Oral and written, I have not mentioned here because we know oral when we speak, written when we write. But when you talk about the other parts like verbal and non-verbal, personal or professional, formal and informal, and vertical and horizontal. In verbal and non-verbal, we have also discussed some points. But when we talk about personal and professional, in personal communication, we don't take care the formalities. When you are talking to me, it may happen you have your family members in your home or the place where you are sitting right now. The other people will not disturb you, and if they want to disturb you or if they want to communicate with you, they will do it non-verbal. So that is a professional communication, not personal communication. Personal means when they don't take care of the context, when they will not understand the situation that you are taking a class, a teacher is teaching you, the class is being recorded, they should not disturb you, right? So that is personal. For example, when I get up in the morning, and I see my father, my grandfather, I will never say good morning. I will say namaste, or I will say uh, ram ram. This shows personal communication. But whenever I meet to any uh, person who is not our relative, it can be teacher, senior, boss, right? We will say good morning, and to our friends we never say good morning. We can, but in professional way we will say. In unprofessional way will say hi, hello. So this is personal and professional. When we talk about formal and informal, you might think that personal and professional, formal and informal, all are same. No, there's some difference, and difference is what? Personal means the use of words we choose to use, but in formal and informal means the context we are talking. For example, you are at your home, you are talking to your father, mother, brother, and sister. And when you are at a railway station, when you are at a bus stand, the way you talk to your father, mother, and sister. This is the difference between informal and personal. When we talk to our family members, of course we are informal. Of course, we feel we will use the personal communication, but it depends to whom you want to share what, right? Whatever you can share with your mother, it may happen you are not able to share with your father or brother. So this is the difference between personal and informal. And if I talk about formal and professional, professional means when we behave according to profession. As I told you, you will when you see a person in a particular dress, that might have other symbols showing something about the dress. For example, if I talk about the khaki dress, a bus conductor and a policeman both wear the dress of same color, but the other things, that badge, that cap, belt, shoes, that decorates the dress itself. So this is the difference between professional and formal. When we talk about vertical and horizontal, for example, you are a student. Of course, you are a student. You are talking to me. You have some issue. You have some question. You asked questions to me. I answered your questions. Still, you are not satisfied. You can again ask to me. Again, I will try to answer. But if you are still not satisfied and you don't want to talk to me, you will directly talk to the person concerned, right? It can be a coordinator, it can be any other official, right? For example, in a physical class, when you were in school, your school teacher used to teach you. He or she also used to clear your doubts. But instead of talking to your class teacher, if you directly go to your principal for some clarification, the principal might have cleared that, but it it is not a good thing because uh, uh, it shows that the teacher is not so important for you because it sends a different message. So that is vertical and horizontal communication. Sometimes it happens that we don't have time to follow the decorum. We don't have time to maintain the procedure. Then directly we can communicate to everyone. For example, we are in a hospital. You know, we are supposed to talk to a nurse. We are supposed to talk to ward boys and others. But if we are in problem, we will not bother who is there. Anybody you will find, you will tell your problem. So, of course, that person can say, this is not the way to talk, but we are in a situation, we are in a problem. That's the part of vertical and horizontal communication. I hope now it will be clear to you. Right, dear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Then come to your second question, which is also very essential. This PPT is just for uh, clearing the points. This PPT will not entirely help you to writing your answers, but it will help you to writing your answers in a better way, in a point form. Now the question comes from where you will study. I hope you might have just a minute. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So did you get that link or not? I'm
No,
asking,
sir.
I'm asking when you receive the mail that there will be a class, there will be an online class. How did you get the information about that? कैसे पता चला आपको कि ऐसे क्लास होगी?
Through email, sir.
Sorry, you received the email.
Yes, sir.
So with the email, you didn't get that what you can see on your screen.
Sir, I have to check it once again.
Okay, let me tell you, dear.
Yes,
When
sir.
you opt for any course in IGNU, there are options of online material and hard copy material, right?
Yes, sir.
So which option you have chosen for hard copy or for soft copy?
Soft copy.
Soft copy. Then you might have received that. And if you are not received that, I will talk to the person concerned in your regional center. I will talk to him. Then he will share with everyone uh, this contents. So if you can see on your screen, there is unit for non-verbal communication, body language. Could you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, by today only, because next class we will have in the evening from 4 to 6, and that class is just for uh, your doubts and your queries. But since nobody else is asking any question, so in evening class, that will be from 4 to 6, directly we will go to the next topic, right? But before starting that class, I will again ask if anybody have any doubt in the this particular class. So what you could do after taking the evening class, I will share, uh, of course, that person who is person concerned for that. He will share that link with you, and if he or she has already shared with that, kindly go through that. When you will click on that, you will find non-verbal communication, body language, unit 4. I have started with the unit 4 because this is more practical. In the very first class, I was thinking कि आप ज़्यादा bore ना हो. When you will click upon that, you will find like this.
Okay, so
Non
sir, for this content, matlab for this, I have to log in on e-Gyan course.
Again, I'm telling you, the person concerned who sent you the email, I will ask him that a student has that query. He or she will share with you. And if still you don't receive anything, I will personally send you. Don't worry. I will have a downloaded copy of everything that is provided to you or to me. Then I will send you through mail.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Right here, there is no issue. So let us have a look on that. No, see, in unit 4, the first part is what are the contents of, what are the objectives, and their activities like this. So basically these things will help you to understand something, but the way I taught you, that will help you to write the answers. See, when you will go through that, for example, reading comprehension, 5 situations. In the evening class, I will talk about the comprehension itself. And if you could see that, non-verbal communication, body language, objectives, warm up, what does your body language say about you? These just 2 pages are there. These 2 pages won't help you to write your complete answers, right? But when you will read the whole notes, see, the whole notes are in a way that will help you to understand something. It may happen they will not help you to write your answers properly, but they will help you to understand the context, understand the concept, so that you can write your answers, right? And see, uh, yes, listening, presentation on your body language. Yes, when you will read that and when you will answer that, then you will come across. Yes, huh, this is very good. 4.7, writing skills, describing your body language. After reading that, this whole pages, when you will come to page number this 16, facial expression, gestures, communication, convey, greet, habit, message, expression, impression, inner feeling, outward appearance, right? Try to write a paragraph by using all these words, right? So it will not only help to check your level of understanding, it will also help you to have a practice how you will attempt your answers during your exams, right? So the material available on eGyan course is like that only. So I will ask the person, uh, the assistant who is helping me by conducting this class, what kind of material they have sent to you. Means this material is for the teacher or for the student. I will ask to him, and then I will share with you. uh, For example, the first unit is about starting and ending conversations. Yeah, this seems quite good. So every part is like that only. First two pages are write-ups, then the rest pages are for practice. But these are good. Yes, these are good. Yes. Uh, you must go through all these notes, though they can be little lengthy, but they will help you to understand perfectly. And the next one is feelings. Unit 3, feelings. Yes, these are good notes. I think these are for students also, not only for the teacher. Especially these are for students only. I feel that because the pictures and the way it has been described, it seems that these are for students only. Uh,
Sir, can I ask a question?
yes, of course, please.
Uh, Sir, I am telling that we have received a mail regarding the books and the materials, and also we have a option of IGNU e-learning app where we can download this.
Okay, so that's good. You can download from there, and uh, if you still feel any problem, I can do one
डॉक्टर
thing.
साहब आवाज आ रही है क्या?
Yes, yes, I'm getting you. Are you getting me?
सर, मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि इग्नू प्ले स्टोर पे इग्नू ई कंटेंट के नाम से मोबाइल ऐप है, स्टूडेंट वो डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं और ई ज्ञान कोर्स पे मटेरियल डाउनलोड हो सकता है, लेकिन प्ले स्टोर पे जो ऐप है उससे विजिबल होता है, डाउनलोड नहीं हो सकता है। तो सभी
Okay.
स्टूडेंट मोबाइल प्ले स्टोर से डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं अगर उनको हार्ड कॉपी नहीं मिली है, और हार्ड कॉपी के लिए वो अपने रीजनल सेंटर को ईमेल कर सकते हैं। ओके।
Right, students?
Yes, sir.
And Sunil sir, how I can share my PPT with the students? अगर मैं PPT शेयर करना चाहूँ तो मैं कैसे कर सकता हूँ?
सॉरी सर।
मैं पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि जो PPT जिससे मैं अभी पढ़ा रहा हूँ, ये PPT स्टूडेंट्स कैसे रिसीव
नो
कर
नो नो
सकते
नीड टू शेयर, दिस इज ए रिकॉर्डिंग, रिकॉर्डेड वो
हैं? Okay,
सेशन है
okay,
सर।
okay, okay. Yeah, students, one more thing. For example, if you see that, yeah, students, are you able to see that PDF before you? देख सकते हो आप लोग?
Yes, sir.
I think it will be also very helpful. For example, verbal and non-verbal, the definition first, then merits, demerits, advantages, disadvantages. So these are just 3 pages, right? This is my own material actually, and it is very similar to the material provided by IGNU, and the material provided by IGNU is more comprehensive. I have felt so. You must follow first of all uh, what is sent to you through email only. पहले उसी पे फोकस करें आप, बिकॉज आपका जो क्वेश्चन पेपर है वो उसी के अकॉर्डिंग आएगा. But additionally, you feel any problem, you can let me know. I will talk to Sunil sir, who is coordinator for that. Uh, वो आपको और भी मटेरियल भेजने में हमारी हेल्प करेंगे। राइट स्टूडेंट्स, इफ एनीबडी हैव एनी अदर क्वेश्चन प्लीज आस्क मी।
Sir, what will be the probable time for our exams, first exams?
ओके सुनील सर प्लीज आंसर। सुनील सर सुन रहे हैं आप? सुनील सर।
क्या पूछा स्टूडेंट ने?
ये पूछ रहे हैं कि इनके एग्जाम कब होंगे, आई थिंक उसके बारे में बात करना चाह रहे हैं।
ये तो आपको ऑनलाइन पता लगेगा निकेत जी, कि आपने ऑनलाइन एडमिशन लिया है?
Yes, sir.
बीकॉम GOL
OL.
OL। हाँ, तो दिसंबर सेशन में आपके एग्जाम हो जाएंगे अगर आपका एडमिशन जनवरी सेशन 2023 में है तो।
Um, probable month. Probable month is the December.
यस डियर, वो दिसंबर की बात कर रहे हैं। आई वांट टू मेक इट मोर क्लियर। सर इज सेइंग कि जिन्होंने भी जनवरी में एडमिशन लिया है उनके एग्जाम दिसंबर में हो जाएंगे।
हाँ, यस सर,
Thank
यस।
you, sir.
एनी अदर
सर,
क्वेश्चन? हाँ जी, हाँ बताइए।
सर असाइनमेंट के क्वेश्चंस कहाँ से ले सकते हैं? सितंबर तक का टाइम है।
सुनील सर
वो
असाइनमेंट के
आपकी ignu.ac.in पे डाउनलोड सेक्शन में असाइनमेंट्स लिंक पे है, असाइनमेंट सेक्शन में।
ओके सर।
स्टूडेंट्स, बाकी जो हमारी क्लास होंगी जैसे शाम को 4 से 6 और ऑन एवरी संडे आपको शेड्यूल मिल गया होगा, तो आपके जो भी इश्यू हैं पढ़ाई के अलावा आप उन सब की बात कर सकते हैं। हम चाहते हैं आप कंफर्टेबल फील करें। ये क्लास इसीलिए ऑर्गेनाइज की जा रही है कि आपको जो भी प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम आ रही है वो डाउनलोड करने में या कोई किसी मटेरियल को समझने में यू कैन आस्क मी। राइट?
यस सर। सर वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन। सर ये रिकॉर्डेड ऑडियो वीडियो क्लास हमें मिलेगी?
हाँ ऑफ कोर्स मिलेगी सुनील सर। आई होप ये
यस
उनको
सर, यस सर, मिलेगी। इट इज अवेलेबल ऑन इग्नू RC चंडीगढ़ फेसबुक पेज एंड यूट्यूब पेज। तो मैं आपको रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि स्टूडेंट इग्नू RC चंडीगढ़ के पेज को लाइक करें, फेसबुक पेज और यूट्यूब, हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल है इग्नू RC चंडीगढ़ के नाम से, दोनों जगह अवेलेबल है।
ओके सर।
हाँ जी, एनीबडी हैव एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
नो सर, थैंक यू।
Right, so in evening by 4 let us discuss another topic, right?
यस सर।
Yes,
Aniket
sir.
Das, Aniket Das, you have written, sir can I ask a question? Do you have any question?
No, no, sir. I asked it.
Okay. Okay students, thank you for joining. Sunil sir, so can
यस
we
सर,
end the meeting?
यस सर, यस सर। आप सभी स्टूडेंट से रिक्वेस्ट है कि शाम का सेशन जरूर ज्वाइन करें। ये आपके फ्यूचर के लिए भी बेनिफिशियल होगा और आपकी क्लास जो आप ऑनलाइन एडमिशन आपने लिया है उन सब में काम आएगा।
स्टूडेंट्स वन मोर थिंग, ऑफ कोर्स मैं आप लोगों को पहली बार ही पढ़ा रहा हूँ। जैसे हम इग्नू की क्लास लेते हैं तो हम स्टूडेंट्स से खुद पूछते हैं कि वो क्या चाहते हैं कि थोड़ा और किस तरीके से उनको हम पढ़ा सकते हैं। राइट डियर? तो आप शाम की जब क्लास ज्वाइन करें, सो जो आपको अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम इस क्लास में आई हो और एनीथिंग यू वांट टू शेयर, मस्ट शेयर विद मी। इट विल हेल्प मी टू टीच यू मोर बेटर वे। राइट? तो आप बताएं कि क्या चीज़ हमें समझ नहीं आई थी या कैसे बताया जा सकता है, तो उसको हम इंक्लूड करने की कोशिश करें। राइट?
Okay, sir.
ओके सर।
ओके स्टूडेंट्स, थैंक यू। सी यू इन द इवनिंग।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर साहब।
हाँ सुनील, ठीक है सुनील जी।